Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Liam. As mentioned, my name is Josh Vino. I served in the Canadian Armed Forces for 14 years. I joined when I was 17 years old and deployed in my first combat tour by the time I was 21 years old. When I came home from my first deployment, I could barely sleep. The nightmares were relentless and extremely visceral. I was constantly exhausted, I had no appetite, and I struggled with emotional regulation. I pushed through for almost a decade like that, living on a cocktail of medications that only made things worse. I felt sedated, disconnected, angry, and deeply depressed. Eventually, in December of 2016, I released from the Canadian Armed Forces simply because I could no longer handle the weight of depression and anxiety. I was completely unraveling, and I felt I was no longer effective as a soldier. After being released from the Canadian Armed Forces, my mental state got even darker. I was completely lost and emotionally numb. I battled suicidal thoughts every single day. I felt zero connection to anyone, even my family, who I'd always been very close with. I chased adrenaline, engaged in intense workouts, dove deep into therapy in an attempt to understand my own mind, yet I was still numbing myself with drugs and alcohol. I desperately wanted to feel anything other than the weight of depression. After a lot of research, discussion with clinicians, and speaking with others who had seen the positive benefits, I decided to use psychedelics in a medicinal setting. For the first time in almost 15 years, I felt peace. It was as if I could see all the traumatic incidents and chaotic events of my life somehow making sense, like they all had a piece in a larger pattern. It also provided me with an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the present. That experience allowed me to forgive myself, reconnect with my family who I drifted away from, and gave me a brand new outlook on life. My story isn't unique. It mirrors tens of thousands across Canada. So I'd like to pose a question. When we think about why we support our veterans, our first responders, and our healthcare providers, what do we envision? What's the real reason we support them? We often picture a hero, a protector, a healthcare provider, and people who run towards danger when others run away. And that is true, but I also see something deeper. I see men and women who embody the very values that define our nation: honor, integrity, selflessness, courage, self-discipline, loyalty, and a calling to serve the greater good of humanity. These principles uphold the very fabric of our society. Yet far too many of these people carry invisible wounds that make them feel isolated, misunderstood, and disconnected from the communities that they once served. When we lose these people to isolation, addiction, and suicide, we don't just lose the individual, but we lose the strength and the moral fiber that they brought to our communities. We are calling on the federal government to immediately investigate and hold hearings into medical access for psychedelic medicine, with an eye to regulatory reform. A solid move in this direction will save lives. The time is now. Thank you.